All right, now we're finally going to take a look at the event loop. Now, the event loop actually explains why if we console.log start and then set timeout something and then console.log middle, you would actually see start, middle, and then the set timeout, okay? Now, so far, it's always been kind of like magic, and then we say, oh, that's because it's async and the browser handles it. Well, here's how the browser handles it, through the use of what's called an event loop. Okay, let me explain this whole picture. The yellow background, that's your browser engine runtime. So in your browser engine, in its native code in C++ or C, they coded it so that there's a call stack, there's a section for web APIs, there's a callback queue, and something called the event loop that keeps running and running and running and running. Okay, let's talk about call stack. Whenever you call a function or you call a method, this or whatever the function gets called gets pushed onto the call stack. So if you say console.log start, it gets pushed to the call stack. The call stack checks, hey, is this thing synchronous? It is synchronous because it's console. Okay, we can run it. Once they run that, it goes away. It gets deleted. Okay, then comes set timeout. The call stack says, hey, is this synchronous? No, this stuff is actually async. And then it says, hey, you're actually a web API, so you don't even belong here. Can you move to the right spot? Okay, it gets moved over here. Let's put it on top. All right, and then it checks the next console. Hey, are you async? No, you're just a regular synchronous. So I'm gonna display you and then delete. All right, and then now we have a promise. The call stack says, oh no, you're a promise. You're definitely async. I'm gonna move you to the web API stuff. Okay. So now we have set timeout that goes first and then new promise. Now, once the call stack is empty, the event loop, which knows the call stack is empty, because after every function call, the event loop runs. It's checking, are there any more calls in the call stack? Now it says, nope, there's no call stack. It pushed the set timeout to the callback queue, and then it pushes new promise to the callback queue. And then the event loop, once everything in the call stack is empty and once it moved everything from the web API stuff, it will then put these back in the call stack in order. So set timeout was first, go to set timeout. And for set timeout, the event loop will take care of all the countdown and all of that stuff for you. And also in the screen box as well. So now the call stack says, oh, okay, you've been helped by the web APIs and the event loop. So now I can run you. And then we delete. And then the event loop checks, hey, the call stack's empty. The web API thing structure is also empty. Is there anything in the callback queue? Yes, let's push that here. Now this promise gets ran. Okay, and then when it's done, it's all gone. And if everything is gone, then that's the end, right? Okay, I hope that cleared up some stuff for you. I know this is a very, very, very simplified version of things, and it's actually way more complicated under the hood, right? A runtime is actually very, very complicated. But this is the gist of it. This is how asynchronous stuff actually works. Okay, let's move on.